Okay, we're on 8.6. 8.6, page 21. 8.6, page 21. Again, we have two methods. One of the methods is a little bit faster than the other, but you know, there's some things in there where you have to be careful. Okay, method one is the easiest one. To solve this question, we have to figure out what x's will make this work, right? So the first method, bless you. The first method is to multiply by LCD. Okay, so before we do that, we have to figure out what LCD is. What is the least common denominator between all three fractions? X plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, so method one is we are going to take that fraction, the problem, and we are going to multiply everything by the least common denominator. Okay, so let's write down the question. Just copy that question again, so it's with us and neat. Okay, so the first thing is method one, we're going to multiply both sides by the LCD. Okay, multiply both sides by LCD. Yes, sorry.
Should you simplify the denominator?
You mean factory? Yeah, that's a good idea. Make it more apparent. Okay, now what we're going to do is multiply both sides by the LCD. So on the left, we're going to multiply by x plus 3, x minus 3. On the right, we are also going to do the same thing. Okay. This is different from what we've been doing. And why is that? What we've been doing is an expression, meaning there is no equal sign. This time, there is an equal sign. So before, we would multiply by like x plus 3 over x plus 3. But because there's an equal sign, we just multiply both sides by the same thing, and we're good. Okay, so let's see. What we're doing is we are distributing. So let's look at the left-hand side. We're going to distribute this to here and to here. Okay, so you're going to do this mentally. X plus 3 times x plus 3, x minus 3, times the first one, x over x minus 3. Which part is going to cancel?
X minus 3.
X minus 3 is going to cancel. What's left over?
X plus 3.
X and x plus 3. Can you guys see that? I mean, you could write everything out and then cancel it and all that stuff, but just to save you time, mentally cancel this. When you multiply these two factors to this term, the x minus 3 cancels, and then you're left with x and x plus 3. Okay, x and x plus 3 is left over. Same thing here. Distribute to the second term. X plus 3 times x minus 3 times this x over x plus 3. What's going to cancel? X plus 3, good. What's left over?
X and x minus 3.
X and x minus 3. Okay, so that's it on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, when you multiply this whole term by x plus 3, x minus 3, what's going to cancel? X plus 3, x minus 3, so the entire denominator, right? So everything's going to cancel. We're left over with 2. Okay, now we are left with this thing with no fractions. How do we solve this? Just like how we solve everything before. distribute the x, okay, that is the first thing to do. X squared plus 3x plus x squared minus 3x equals 2. And then what?
Simplify.
Simplify, okay, combine like terms. 2x squared equals 2. Okay, divide by 2. X squared equals 1. And then x is equal to what?
Plus minus 1.
Thank you. Plus minus 1, not just 1. Every time you square root, you have plus minus. Last thing. This is the very crucial step. When you do this method, it's very easy to just get to this point and say done. So this method is a little scary. What you want to do almost is once you find the LCD, you want to write the restriction because everything in the denominator is a problem, right? So what does x not equal to? What's in the denominator that's going to cause a problem? Plus minus 3. So then basically what you want to do is once you find the answer, you want to go back and check. Is it plus or minus 3? No. So then that's it. If it is plus or minus 3, make sure you don't include it.
Can you check the restriction with the answer?
Yes, correct. Yeah. It's kind of like when we did logs or some other problems where you had to go back and check. Yes.
So if the answer is the same as the LCD, don't include it in your answer?
Correct. So you could get to a point where there's no solution because everything in your answer is in the restriction, so then nothing works. Okay, that is method 1, which I think is easier because now you have no fractions. Method 2 is a little longer, but you will kind of make sure you keep the restriction with you the whole time, which is keep the fraction and don't change it. Okay, so rewriting the question again. I'm just going to write in factor form so we can look at it. Okay, this method, you are just going to combine all the fractions together, just like what you did before for homework. So you're going to combine these into one big fraction. Combine these into one big fraction. Okay, so combine them into one big fraction. That looks like x times x plus 3 plus x times x minus 3 all over that least common denominator. Okay, same thing as before. We're going to distribute and simplify. So x squared plus 3x plus x squared minus 3x over x minus 3, x plus 3 equals 2 over x plus 3, x minus 3. And that 3x is going to cancel. Two x squared is over x minus 3, x plus 3 is equal to 2 over x plus 3, x minus 3. At this point, it's easy to see what's going to cause a problem, or will my answer ever cause a problem? So basically what you do is you look at it and say, are there things that's going to cancel with the denominator? No, right? There's nothing that's going to cancel with the denominator, so that means your answer is not going to be one of them, I guess. Yes?
So you did like the second step instead of doing second. Can you just do third? Because like in order to do second, we have to do first step first.
Say that again.
Because the second step you did x and then x plus 3.
Yeah.
But in order to get there, we have to like.
Oh, right. You had to multiply x over x plus 3 over x plus 3.
Yeah, but then if you like simplify it, you directly get number 3, right?
Yes, you can take some shortcuts once you're pretty sure you're not going to make mistakes. Just take some shortcuts. Yeah. Okay, so at this time, you can see that if the denominator is the same, the numerator has to be the same. So then 2x squared is equal to 2. So x squared is equal to 1. X is equal to plus minus 1. And that is not in the denominator, so we're done. Okay. All right. Let's vote so we can decide which method we're going to do as a class from this point on, because we still have a few more problems. How many people prefer method 1? Okay, how many people prefer method 2? Okay, all right, method 1 wins. If you're going to do method 2, do method 2. I will just check yours with method 2. Aaron's like, what's going on? Okay, we're going to do method 1. So we're going to multiply everything by the LCD all the time. Okay, let's look at this question. First, factor. That way we can see what is the least common denominator. All right, let's write the LCD on the side. What is the least common denominator? What is the least common denominator? X plus 1, x plus 2. Okay, so then what can x not equal to? -1 and -2. Okay, we're going to multiply both sides by the LCD to get rid of all the fraction at once.
Even though we have x plus 1 and x plus 2 the first one, why do we have to like multiply?
We want to get rid of all the fractions all at once. So you multiply it by the least common denominator so they can all be, I guess, eliminated. All right, go ahead and distribute, cancel, and try to solve. Let me know when you're done. Okay, on the left, this first term, the entire LCD is going to cancel. So you're left with x minus 1. The second term, only the x plus 2 is going to cancel, so we still have x plus 1 and 2x. On the right, x plus 1 is going to cancel, so we're left over with x minus 1, x plus 2. Please make sure you put the factors in parentheses so you know you're going to multiply them. Okay, so now you are left with this. X minus 1 plus, distribute that, 2x squared plus 2x equals, FOIL that, x squared plus x minus 2. So I kind of did some in my head instead. Okay, now how do we solve this problem? How do you solve any problem that doesn't have only 1 degree? Yes, set it equal to 0. Anytime you want to solve something, you have to make it equal to 0. So it looks like it's better if I move everything to the left, but let's combine like terms first. 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals x squared plus x minus 2. Move everything to the left. X plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, if you didn't get to this point, get to this point and then continue solving it. You mean this x squared?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was just making sure.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the right.
Sorry about that. Okay, so we get to this point. Factor x plus 1 squared equals to 0. So x is equal to -1. Are we done? Those of you who already checked the answer. No, because what is in a restriction? X can't equal -1. So that is no solution. Okay, make sure you check your answer. Okay, let's do one. You guys want to do an easy one or a hard one? One person says hard. Hard one or more challenging one? Okay, let's do one hard one together. Let's go all the way to the last page, page 23. Okay, let's do this one. Again, you want to factor. 5 over x minus 3, x minus 4, minus 2 over 3 minus x. Oh, this 3 minus x is a very strange number, isn't it? You can see on the left there is the factor x minus 3, x minus 4, and all of a sudden you have a 3 minus x, where 3 is the first thing you see instead of x. So wouldn't it be so nice if it were x minus 3? So what do you have to do to switch the positions?
Take out a negative.
Take out a negative. Okay, so instead of 3 minus x, to swap the position, what we have to do is take out a negative so that we can write x minus 3. But that's really awkward. We have a minus here and a negative here. So what can I do to make this more simple? Change what? To plus? Yeah. So we don't want to have a lot of negatives going on. If you can simplify as you go. So this is a plus. Okay? First of all, swap x and 3 by taking out the negative. Now there's a negative. Please make it a plus so it's not awkward. All right, now it's pretty much the same as the other stuff you've been doing. So go ahead and solve it. Again, least common denominator, write your restrictions, multiply everything by LCD, and solve.